We have a great international crowd today with librarians from Denmark, Latvia. Welcome to all of you. We'll be beginning in just 1 minute. Thank you for putting your name, country, and role in the chat. Welcome, Andrew. Okay, it's noon, so we will go ahead and begin. Claire, if you don't mind cutting the music, we can begin today's training. All right, so welcome everyone. My name is Megan Lee. I'm a librarian and a facilitator with Libraries Without Borders, Bibliothèques Sans Frontières, here in France. Today I'm joined by a guest speaker, Krista Carabesco, who is the library manager of Galinisema Library in Ventspils, Latvia. And we also have Claire Elouin, who's the LiBri project manager at BSF.
Hello, everyone.
All right, so first of all, we hope that your subtitles maybe are already working. If not, here are the steps to find them. So please, in your Teams meeting, click the More tab on the meeting toolbar on the top right-hand corner of your screen, next to the camera and the microphone button. Choose Language and Speech, then click on Show Live Captions. The subtitles banner should appear at the bottom of the screen below the camera views. On the right-hand corner of that banner, please click on Language Settings. From there, a language setting page will open. Please leave the spoken language in this meeting as English, or else the live translated subtitles will not work. Activate the button on the left of Translate To and choose your spoken language. If any of you have any questions about this, please go ahead and write us in the chat if you're having difficulty. Our apologies because we do not have Latvian subtitles. We suggest that you use English instead. So, our agenda for today. First of all, we're going through our introductions right now. Then I'm going to be giving you all a brief overview of some of the resources within the LiBri project toolkits that are on the topic of children, youth, and families. Then we have our guest speaker, Krista, who is going to be talking to you all about her experience in Latvia as a library manager working with this demographic. Finally, we'll do a closing with an evaluation and a save the date so that you'll join us at our next webinar. Also, thank you everyone in the chat. We have so many awesome librarians and people from all over the world. I'm very excited about today's webinar. So, some of our norms of participation. At Libraries Without Borders, we have 4 things that we'd like to always have as expectations for all of our meetings and our webinars and trainings. So first of all, non-judgment, meaning please participate and share any questions you have without being afraid of being judged by your questions or comments. Second of all, participation. I see that some of you had your cameras on. I love seeing you. Hi, thank you. It's a way for us to connect with each other across international boundaries. But also we understand if you don't feel comfortable showing your turning your camera on, because this webinar is recorded and it will be shared with all of our participating partners and within our LinkedIn page where all of our webinars are stored within our Google Drive. So just keep that in mind. So thank you for participating. That could be a reaction. At the top of your screen, you'll see the options. So you could give a heart or a clap or a laughing face, whatever it is you would like. And no worries if you don't have the camera on your computer. It's not a big deal. Number 3, oh, thank you. I'm seeing some hearts. Confidentiality. So that has to do with the idea that, we are again recording this and it is open to the public. So please do not share any information about your library users that is private, that you should be protecting. Thank you for that. And finally, please turn off your microphone to avoid echo while someone else is speaking. But please turn on your microphone if you have a question and you want to participate, because we will be having a question and answer portion of this. But also, I love it when you guys write questions in the chat so we can know what you're thinking about. Okay, so before we dive in, let's get a sense of who's here. So which group do you find the most challenging to engage in your library? Children from migrant families, teenagers from migrant families, or parents, caregivers from migrant families? Or D, you haven't worked much with migrant families yet. If you guys could, please answer today in the chat that question. A, B, C, or D? Just in the chat. All right, I see one C, so parents. The most challenging to engage. Oh, a lot of D. We haven't worked much with migrant families yet. Excellent. Seeing a lot of teenagers, children. I really should have created a group, all of the above. Okay, a lot of participation here. I think that as we go into today's webinar, we'll see that this is a struggle across the board, is getting children, teenagers, and parents from migrant families engaged in your library programs. So hopefully we're going to come up with some strategies and share some best practices so that when you leave today's session, you'll feel more prepared with some tools to help you do so. Excellent. Thank you for everyone's participation. Okay, so let's go ahead and start in then with some of the resources from the toolkit. So first of all, I wanted to just start with this question is, what does it even mean to have children participating in a library setting? So engaging children and youth from migrant backgrounds in library programming requires intention. Oops. Okay, just checking the mics. I think we're good. Requires intentional, age-adapted approaches that meet their developmental, emotional, and cultural needs. Roger Hart's ladder of participation that you can see right here illustrates how child engagement can range from passive involvement to active youth-led decision-making. So libraries have a unique opportunity to move up this ladder by creating opportunities and spaces where migrant youth are not only welcomed, but empowered as co-creators and decision makers. So I love that because I think you guys have experienced this as librarians with all of your public. If they're a part of the decision making, they're going to be more invested and they're going to participate more frequently. Okay, so here we have some strategies. We're going to focus first on child-friendly services. Within the toolkit, you'll find some resources and some advice about how to provide child-friendly services for children from a migrant background. One of the first suggestions we have is to offer collaborative storytelling activities where parents and children engage with books or create their own stories together. Last session, for those of you who are here, we had a librarian from Montpellier, from the Médiathèque Federico Garcia Lorca Library, and she talked about one of their programs, Bébé Polyglotte, if you remember, which was an opportunity for children and parents to come in, and each week they read stories in a different language. So they were encouraging all sorts of multiculturalism. I wanted to highlight here also this book. Has anyone heard of it? Chris Naylor's book, The Suitcase? Please write so in the chat or give me a thumbs up. And I'm sharing it with you right here, a link of, oh, I'm getting some thumbs up. Awesome. So this is a video link to him reading the story. And this story is for children, and it's specifically about the migration experience, about, I don't know what creature it is, but this creature that has traveled with all of his belongings, his entire life in a suitcase. And when he encounters the people in the new place that he's arrived at, they're very suspicious of him, and they're suspicious of his suitcase. So this book really kind of teaches children about compassion and understanding, and just a little window of the migrant experience. So I encourage you to look at that. I'm also going to share with you another event, which is from a library I visited last week in Paris, a beautiful library, the James Baldwin Médiathèque. And within that library, they have a program where they do sign language, children story time. So that's open for everyone, right? If it's in sign language, you can hit all of those people that speak different languages. So I encourage you guys to check out those links that I've included in the chat. Okay, so for those of you who are feeling big and brave, I encourage you to go ahead and open up your toolkit and try this activity. This is about parent-child storytelling. Going back to what we were just suggesting, this workshop invites parents and children to come together and create their own stories, drawing on imagination, personal memories, and shared experiences. So it's not a read aloud. Instead, you're co-creating narratives, sparking creativity, nurturing emotional bonds, and giving parents and children the chance to express themselves in a supportive group environment. So that's one activity you could give a try.
There is just something I would like to add about the activities. So here we put the audience is mostly migrant children, but of course the idea is not to segregate native children and migrant children. So some of the activities are actually very well suited to mix people and encourage people to meet. Like we could totally see native kids also participating to these kind of activities.
Absolutely, Claire. Thank you for adding that. And I think that's kind of the theme for today, is that activities that are good for migrant children, youth, and families are good for all. So it's just a way to, yeah, exactly, are good for all. Where can we access the toolkit? We'll be sharing that link with you at the end of today's webinar. Thank you for that question, Nima. Okay, the second piece of advice we have is about about space design. So designing child-friendly spaces that include soft seating, age-appropriate books, toys, and sensory materials to create a welcoming environment for families. So I've added a picture here of another library that I visited here in France, the Médiathèque de Cluny, which offered this absolutely gorgeous reading space for children and families. Again, not just for migrant families, but everyone would appreciate this space and want to come back for more. Now we're going to move into youth services. Adolescents and teens from migrant backgrounds often experience acute isolation, social exclusion, and identity challenges. They may struggle to balance family expectations with peer pressure, or to find spaces where they feel welcome and understood. Studies show that migrant youth are at a significantly higher risk of social exclusion, with European data suggesting that only 57% of immigrant background teens feel that they belong at school, compared to 66% of their native-born peers. Community spaces like libraries can help close this gap. And I think that data that shows that 66% of even native-born peers don't feel necessarily accepted or welcome at school shows how high this need is to address the youth and adolescent community at large. So youth on the move, especially those who are separated or unaccompanied, face distinctly urgent needs, including of safety and protection, access to health and education services, but also opportunities for connection, space to play, and meaningful ways to participate in life in their new community. So how can libraries foster youth engagement in library spaces? Our first piece of advice is about design again. This time, thinking about how to incorporate leisurely spaces to encourage play and peer connection. Play is more than entertainment. It's a proven tool for social inclusion, cultural exchange, and even language acquisition by creating fun, informal environments where youth, both from migrant backgrounds and host communities, can interact across language and cultural barriers. Libraries can help foster belonging and mutual understanding. So we have an activity for you to try, and I would love in the chat if any of you are already doing some of this kind of gaming that's going on or programming around gaming with youth. Please go ahead and write that in the chat. I'm curious. But here's an activity that I've highlighted from the Outreach Toolkit, and it's entitled Traditional Board Games. So this fun and inclusive tournament featuring traditional board games from around the world can be adapted as just a one-off event or a reoccurring series with one game per week or multiple games played simultaneously at different tables. Next, another idea, another piece of advice for creating programming for youth from a migrant background is about building empathy and awareness of migration journeys. Role play and simulations allow young people to engage emotionally and intellectually with real-world challenges faced by migrants and refugees, building empathy and intercultural sensitivity. I wanted to highlight a program that I read about in Poland, and it was at I don't want to mispronounce it, but I'll do my best. Rasian Public Library, in partnership with the Polish Migration Forum Foundation, they ran a game called So Much of the World in My Town, an outdoor-based workshop aimed at middle school students, where participants assumed the role of refugees, navigating forced displacement, border crossings, and language barriers. They reported having a very positive experience from this program. And within our toolkit, I found an activity that I thought was quite similar, the Living Library, which is within the Social Cohesion Toolkit. And this program focuses on an opportunity where people get to tell their stories as migrants. What were their journeys, where have they come from, etc. And this could be done with, again, the host community and migrant youth so that everyone gets to hear each other's stories. And also, thank you, Elisabetta. I see that you wrote in Italy, we work a lot with board games and video games, every day with specific events. Excellent. I hope that you find that to be very successful. Okay, the third piece of advice we have, and I bet, give me a thumbs up if you already do this, this is probably popular. This is probably an offering you have in very many libraries, is tutoring and homework help. So for many newly arrived migrants and refugees, access to education is a top priority and a key pathway to successful integration. For some, the search for better or specialized education is why they migrated. For children and young people, migration frequently results in learning gaps compared to their peers. In Europe, children at the pre-primary level, ages 3 to 5, and upper secondary, 15 and older, they often fall outside compulsory education laws, leaving many excluded from school integration programs. The war in Ukraine has further strained education systems across Europe as schools struggle to absorb large numbers of newly arrived students. Data from the OECD indicate that young migrants and youth with foreign-born parents are disproportionately more likely to leave school early and face subsequent unemployment. So that's showing you the urgency of these types of programs. For more resources, please locate this toolkit, Life Skills for Integration in Local Communities, and the action area, Academic Support, Professional Guidance, and Skills Development. We're going to go into it now with an example. So right here, what I'm showing, oh yeah, that's correct, is some data just to again underline the urgency of this. So since the onset of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Poland has faced an unprecedented influx of refugee children, as have other countries. I'm highlighting Poland here because they're marked in the toolkit as an example of where homework help and quiet study spaces and informal language practice is being used, targeted to assist Ukrainian children. So despite national efforts, Polish schools have struggled to meet the demand for language and integration support, with only 60% of Ukrainian students entitled to free Polish language classes enrolled in them, and high dropout rates have been reported. Therefore, libraries can be a space where this extra support is provided. Another figure, just to show you again the urgency of this need. This is from the OECD, and it's showing that at the age of 15, by the age of 15, students with migrant parents who do not speak the language of instruction at home are disproportionately sorry about that. Okay. This data shows that at the age of 15, students with migrant parents who do not speak the language of instruction at home are approximately 1 year of schooling behind students with native-born parents. So you can see this across different countries. So a quick checklist for you as you're thinking about your programming for academic and professional support and libraries for youth. Does your library offer homework help for migrant children? Are there easy to access materials? Are staff trained to orient users toward additional employment or voluntary services? Does your library host CV writing workshops or mock interviews? Are your spaces welcoming to adult learners as well as children? And does your library offer opportunities for migrants to volunteer? Because again, that's another way to make people feel like they're included and they're invested in the projects at the library. So another activity for you to try is specifically about homework help, kind of just outlining how you could implement a program like that. Please check it out. So next, our final piece of advice for youth services is about offering advanced digital skills workshop. And here what I'm highlighting is some programs in Romania. And I'm not sure if we have Krina with us, but she was the librarian that I spoke with in Romania who showed me images and connections to links that I would love to share with you all about coding programs that they're offering there that are having tremendous, tremendous success. So here are some photographs from their programming from Krina Popescu from the Pietrari Public Library in Romania. And this program is not just a program that they're doing at their library, but across the entire country of Romania, and they're receiving funding from an outside organization to support it. So we're going to be talking about partnerships in a future webinar, but doing this type of programming with materials and resources and technology can require partner organizations to help you make it very strong. I'll go ahead and share some links for you guys as well, so you can check that out with more detail. From the Progress Foundation is the NGO that supports them with that program. And I'll share some of their Facebook links that she shared with me so you can see more images of their program. All right, so to conclude this section on youth, ways to involve migrant children and youth meaningfully include youth advisory councils to guide programming priorities, so they're a part of the decision-making process. Book collections adapted to diverse age groups and their interests, okay? Where they can see themselves in the texts that are selected. Participatory design workshops for reimagining spaces, services, peer-led book clubs or storytelling circles, creative expression programs, evaluation and feedback mechanisms that adapt to age and ability, and mobile library outreach. And we've talked about that in our last session when we had a librarian from Grenoble talking to us from France. Finally, our third topic, family services. Tips for creating family-oriented programming. So, when you're thinking about all three groups together, how can you support them? Family-oriented program refers to planned educational and support services that engage children and their parents together. So how can we do that? Think about offering space and safe and welcoming spaces for caregivers and children, scheduling activities at times that accommodate caregiving routines, and using inclusive language and imagery that reflects the diversity of families. Being mindful of cultural gender expectations and how they influence participation and engagement. We'll get into that in the next slide. So when we think about family services, our first recommendation is to offer flexible hours and services. So families might not be able to come to events during the daytime because they're working, so hosting events on Saturdays for families or hosting events in the evenings. Also, having the ability for parents to not have to sign up in advance can be a very good way to make the event more accessible. So allowing people to show up and to participate in events without advance registration. I'm highlighting an activity in Europe, in Turin. They had a program where they provided preschool services within the library premises for children of migrant families who were unable to attend nursery schools due to economic constraints or long waiting lists. So I'm going to just highlight 3 ideas for you to take home with you and to consider about how you can better target families in your programming. Offering dedicated parent-child activities, which allow parents and children to participate together. Providing context-specific parenting resources, such as informational workshops on parenting in a new cultural setting, or on how to support a children's emotional well-being and educational development, and organizing informal playgroups to give parents and children a chance to socialize in a safe and friendly environment. Okay, so that's the end of my section of just kind of trying to highlight as best as I could some of the elements within the toolkit designed to assist you with providing services for children, youth, and families. Now I would like to go in depth with Krista Carabesco, who is our guest speaker and the library manager of Galinsiema Library in Ventspils, Latvia. And she's going to give us context about what it looks like in her library. Thank you so much for being with us today, Krista.
Thank you so much for having me. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, yes, this is my library. So Galinsiema Library, community center. As Megan said, I am Krista. Yep, next slide. So about my library, so it was only built 2.5 years ago, and it is one of the 7 public library branches in Ventspils municipality. We are also the library for the blind and also a community center. So the area that the library is in is a residential area on the side of the city. So it is not needed to have a huge building. So this is a 600 square meter big building, which is not too big, but it's enough for the area. And it's only 1 floor design and for easy access. And we have also an events hall. Sometimes, for example, yoga classes happen there. We also have kitchen and shower facilities. Okay, let's go ahead. So a little about my town. The town is not a big city. It's a 30,000 resident town, and 60% of the town is Latvian speakers, and the rest, 40%, are not. I need to point out that learning Latvian is a key part of integration in Latvia. So we require immigrants to learn Latvian. Because we are a small language community, and it's really important. Our language is really important for us, and we need to maintain it. So I will continue with some examples of what we do. But keep in mind that these events and services are attended by both immigrants and local residents who are informed. We just ask people if they want to leave us an email or a phone number, and then we inform them through email or WhatsApp. Okay. So when the library was opened, we were required to implement 6 new services, and you can see the services here. And these are we tend to take these as directions that we work in. So the first would be traditional crafts and creative space. Second would be the nature and local history research. Then we have literary and writing workshops. Then we have folklore and Latvian heritage. The fifth is family heritage research, and also about a direction about digital skills and technologies. So let's go ahead and look at 3 of those. So yes, traditional crafts and creative space. So recently we started doing this thing where we opened our event hall up for the whole day. We brought out all of our crafts, what we have, and it was thematic, like for example, Christmas tree decoration. The whole day was for people to come in and do their crafts. So families came in, also migrants came in. For example, Ukrainian, and it's a really nice way to also make this creative space where people can come freely, not time limited. And the next one is going to be about collages, because there are going to be some old newspapers and magazines, so we are going to do that now. So then we have some interesting lectures. For example, we asked the glass blower to come in, and he showed us how he does his work, and he also let everybody try to do something. For example, kids, they could blow a glass bubble, and the grown-ups, they could do some more difficult things. But we have also had beekeepers, horse keepers. Mostly we are knitting, weaving, or quilting and doing such things. And then once a month, we also do documentary film nights, where we ask people to come in with their projects, knitting projects, and whatever they are doing. It's actually a Latvian tradition. It's called vakarēšana, historically, people would come together at evenings, and everybody would finish whatever they are doing, and this is how we just continue this tradition. And a very popular thing is traditional culinary workshops. As I said, we have a kitchen, so we can make these events happen, and usually we try to bring out some traditional Latvian foods. So let's go ahead. So this is a really strange thing for a library to do, I think, but it's very popular, and I suggest everybody to try it in their libraries, because people are crazy about their family heritage. I think it's because everybody likes to talk about themselves and think about themselves, and this is the essence of talking and thinking about ourselves. So we made some resource booklet, so people, when they come in and they don't know where to start, they can just see the booklet and see all the pages where to go and what to do. But mainly we just ask experts to come in, and as a librarian, I was no expert in family research, but it's really interesting how there are so many thematics, like for example, grave digitalization. There are volunteers who go and digitalize graves, and everybody then go up and see information, and they can find their ancestors. And there is epigenetics, which is crazy. This is about how your ancestor experience influences you now. Why are you being depressed now? Why is it happening to you, like emotionally? What's happening, and so on. But usually we just people make these family trees, and it's really good for kids too, because we make simple trees for kids too, but they just speak to their elderly then and find out everything about their families. So let's go ahead. And this third example I wanted to show was research of nature. We do gardening monthly because, as I said before, this is residential area. Everybody has a garden, and it's very relevant for people who live here. So we have gardeners come in, experts and ornithologues who talk about birds. And then another thing I am really proud of is we have this, we work with the Mycology Association, and they sent us this basket full of items that we can use to educate people about mushrooms, because mushroom foraging is very popular in Latvia. But unfortunately, people still die from mushrooms yearly. So people need to be educated on the risks in the garden. But it's really good stuff. You can go to schools with this. Grown-ups find out many new things, and people usually think they know everything about mushrooms, but I find that they don't know anything about mushrooms. I don't know neither, because I'm still learning, but yes, there's so much to know about them. So that's something. Okay, let's go ahead. So as I said before, we have 7 branches in Ventspils, and everybody does something for immigrants. And for example, we have Pārventa Library, and they have this language cafe, which is really successful. The residents, Latvian-speaking residents, would come in and then have conversations with people who don't speak Latvian that well. This is really good and safe space how to train your Latvian, because those are not teachers. And the same applies to children. Also, we have film nights with movies in Ukrainian sometimes in the main library, and we have bought some books for children in Ukrainian too. And for example, Ventspils University Library is really essential for Ukrainian refugees, because this is the same building they have they stay in. So the housing is provided in those dormitories. So they use printing and many other services library gives. So yes, and also about talking about schools. So, for example, there's this secondary school where mostly Russian-speaking children study, and there are 16 Ukrainian students too. But the library offers a wide range of activities for schools, and we support topics that are studied at school at the moment, such as online safety, reading, or Latvian national holidays, folklore, and so many more topics. So many things we do. These are only just some examples. Okay, let's go ahead. So there was this project LiBri last autumn, and so several cities came together. It was those were librarians from Liepāja, Saldus, Ventspils. It was municipality staff, and most importantly, migrants. So we came together and built teams so we can find what library services could be created to make the social inclusion. And then we, in those teams, we just found out some key barriers. So first big key barrier is, of course, language barrier. So people are afraid to make mistakes when they speak. This is why they don't speak. And a funny thing is that Latvians, they tend to speak Russian once they hear an accent. So if somebody Ukrainian speaks to us in Latvian, we would start speaking to them Russian, so we would think that it would be easier for them. But this is also historically, because we were also occupied by Russia and only got our freedom in 90s. So it's really rooted in our national, So yeah, but it's a problem for migrants. Now they want to learn Latvian, but they can't because we don't let them. Then the second thing is that highly qualified professionals are forced into unskilled labor because they don't know the language good enough, or because the diploma is not recognized. And the third one is information gaps. I think information in general tends not to flow as well as we would love to. We just put up posts in Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, but there are so many people just who says that they haven't seen any information about that and that. So that's not only a migrant problem, that's an algorithm problem in general. So, and then the fourth is so they said they need a safe space and where they can practice language and just be themselves and everything. I just think that in general in Latvia we have really great libraries and they are open spaces that I think the migrants just need to find their way to the library, and then things would work out better for them. So let's go to the next slide. So yes, we came to some solutions. So if we talk about language and communication, then those conversational clubs, maybe it could be not only Pārventa Library, maybe it could be other branches too, and perhaps it could be online, which is a really good idea, I think. Then there were ideas about speed dating for language learning, also board game nights, as Megan was saying, and storytelling events as well. And then about social inclusion. There was this idea that there would be family-to-family initiatives where, how when you go on Erasmus abroad, then there's a buddy, and this family would play the buddy role and just take the other family out, show them around. They would be the ones who they can ask questions and so on. So also organizing excursions to explore local culture. I would love to take some migrants mushroom foraging. That would be great. So there are these things, maybe it's sports, maybe you can go running together, or, maybe just organize these events where people just do something, or yep. So, and about information, as I said, I have found that my information channels work really well. I have these 6 directions we work in, and I just ask people, what are you interested in? And then I just put their either it's a phone number, either it's an email. I just put them down, and once I have an event, I just send it straight to them, because I think we are coming back to face-to-face, communication, because otherwise people just don't get anything. But yes, maybe groups needed to be, and Google calendars, and yes, also public spaces informational, but that's already something everybody is doing. So that's that. Okay. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you. That was very quickly. I tried. We can't hear you, Megan. Megan, we can't hear you.
My goodness, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and we can take off the screen, and so we can just have a Q&A and we can just see ourselves for right now on video. That was absolutely fascinating to get such a thorough description and image of your library. I really appreciated that, and I loved to hear about all of the amazing programming you guys have, and so many good ideas that I'm thinking about, like the buddy system. I want to go mushroom foraging with you, please. And I want to open this up so everyone can ask questions right now before I ask my own. But please, does anyone have a question that they would like to jump in with? Either write it in the chat. Okay, Natalia, please go ahead and unmute yourself and speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I have a question for Krista. I'm from Latvia, so I'm very interested in what Ventspils is doing. Yeah, as a colleague. So those guided forest walks, how many funding does it require to organize those? I mean, yeah.
Okay, so if you talk to Mycology Association, they are very forward-coming, and they are interested in educating the society themselves. So it might be that you can get some really good deals. Maybe somebody wants to just do it for free too. I wouldn't be amazed if they do. So. But I usually, there is this lady, she's an expert, and we have paid her around 50 euros for the excursion. You know, I don't know, that's when you take the taxes off, it's not a lot. So, but we tried, if we get some funding, we try to pay it.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Amanda Smith wrote in the chat, how did the speed dating for language learning work in the library setting?
So it's my colleague's work. So I haven't been in these events, but I know that in the first event, 138 people showed up. It was absolutely crazy. But later on, when some people realized what the format is, then less people showed up, because some people thought it's going to be formal training, some people thought something else. So there are volunteers who just come in to speak to people in Latvian, but not as teachers. Every time there's a different thematic, they discuss. And yes, it's just talking. Sometimes one Latvian, 3 people who are not non-Latvians. Sometimes it's 1-to-1. It depends how many people come and how many volunteers there are. Librarians also participate.
Thank you, Amanda, for your question. If anyone else has any other questions, feel free to raise your hand or to go ahead and write it in the chat. In the meanwhile, I will ask one, if that's appropriate. And my question is about school partnerships, because when I was working in Los Angeles in a school setting as a librarian, I was very fortunate because our institution had a very, very close connection with the Los Angeles Public Library System. So we actually had days of professional development where all of the school librarians met with their counterpart at the institutional level for the Los Angeles Public Library. So we learned about events, we emailed each other, we shared Facebook links and things that we could promote, flyers, etc. And I found that to be very helpful. Could you talk to me about how it works with schools? Do you feel like you guys also have a connection with schools? And that's a good way to integrate children and youth, I find.
As I said, we are 7 branches, and it means if Pārventa library has some events, they just ask Pārventa schools usually, and I have my schools I work with. So it's not like I work with all of the schools in Ventspils, but for example, the school I work with, I have a really close relationship with all the teachers. Well, not all. I have some, I don't know, 10 teachers I usually work with mainly, and then there is this methodical worker. So I have a close relationship with her too. So it's more like, I think it's more like the librarian initiative, if we make connections with people or not, because we don't have anything systematic.
Thank you. That's great to hear you're doing that.
But I want to add that we do these programs. We just send programs to schools so they know what we are offering. It's so many events, like 50 events. I'm not really sure how many. So about every topic imaginable.
Well, that goes with the question from Tanya, and then we have a question from Claire. Tanya wrote in the chat, which channels do you use most often to promote your initiatives?
We have an Instagram account too, but I feel like people just respond really well to emails, and I have 3 or 4 WhatsApp groups, which are, you know, it's rather it's about family heritage or gardening. If I have a gardening event coming up, then I would send them this event first.
Thank you for your answer. Claire, did you want to ask yours? And then we will go to Fiona's question.
Sure. I was a bit intrigued by the family heritage activities. As you said, it's quite surprising. And I was wondering if by looking into their family tree, some people discover they have a history of immigration, and is it the occasion for people to share about such topics and discover it, even though they have been living in Latvia for so long, they might have also like a migration background.
So I would say there are maybe 5, maybe 10, not maybe, I don't think there is 10% of people who are clear Latvians. All of us, we are mixed somewhere because we are geographically in such a place that so many wars, so many nations have gone over that we're very mixed. Yeah. So I think, yes, it's usually really hard for people to find out that, for example, their Russian ancestry, because it's really hard to research, for example, from Russia's side, the archives, the church books, the information, it's more concealed, and but yeah, it's really interesting for us to. But I think a lot of nations are like this, that we are not just that.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Excellent. And I think we have a final question from Fiona. Do you have intergenerational programs or activities?
Yes, actually, we were invited to Copenhagen to speak about this because this was the topic. So all of the events I was talking about, so many of them are intergenerational. We basically really try to do this family thing, that we just invite family. It's not children's event. It's not grown-ups. It's family event. And for example, for the mushroom foraging, that's family event. The all-day workshop, that's family event. Then the family research, we just ask grandparents to come in with their grandchildren to do this. So yes, we try to.
Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so we have just a few minutes left. If anyone has time or has an extra question, we can do one more before we go into the evaluation and the conclusion of today's webinar. But I agree. Thank you, Christopher, for your comment. It has been very interesting. Thank you, Krista. If anyone has any other questions, otherwise we will move on until the end of our presentation. Thank you guys for the kind words and the encouragement in the chat. I'm sure that's appreciated.
Yes, thank you so much. That's very nice.
All right. And we did share Krista's email in the chat, and I can share it again. So if you have other follow-up questions, you're free to reach out. For now, I would love it if you guys would mind opening the evaluation form and going ahead and completing the webinar satisfaction questionnaire. We do use that information as we're planning our next webinars. I've shared the link with you in the chat. Moving on, our next webinar is going to be on February 5th, and our topic is on trauma-sensitive approach for most vulnerable users. As of this moment, I do not have any guest speakers yet. So if you know that your library has something that you're working on, something you're proud of, something you want to share, please go ahead and email me today or tomorrow. But I'm looking for participants for our next webinar that I can focus on. And I really loved today that we had a librarian from Latvia. So let's keep on opening the doors and making this as international and collaborative as possible. There's a link for you to register for this event in the chat. Thank you for signing up. Next, on February 26th, the next event for you to add to your calendar will be on focusing on fostering partnerships. Again, if you would like to participate in that webinar, also contact me. I already have some ideas brewing, some people who have expressed interest from Italy and France, but I would love more. So please reach out. Finally, for those of you who have not yet joined our LinkedIn group, here's a link in the chat so that you can join our community of practice online on LinkedIn. This is the location that we use to share all the information about our upcoming webinars, and librarians and participants can post resources, share their experiences, best practices. It's a way for us to create community online and stay connected. And last but not least, what everyone is waiting for, I hope, is the link to download the toolkits. So when you click on this link, this will be a quick survey, and the survey will ask you to go ahead and fill out some information about who you are. This information is used by Libraries Without Borders in order to show the efficacy and the range of use of the LiBri project toolkits. So please go ahead and fill out the survey and then download the Google Drive folder to your own computer. You'll have the selection of different languages to choose from in your download. And also you'll have a link within that of videos of all of our webinars.
Yes, and we also put all the webinars on YouTube recently, which is best if you want to have automatic subtitles in other languages, because in the recording, there won't be the subtitles, but YouTube allows us to extend them.
Excellent. We can share the link for that as well in our next webinar. And I've just included at the conclusion a thank you and my email, Claire's email, and Krista's email one more time. So thank you for participating in today's webinar. If you have any questions, we have 3 more minutes. You can feel free to ask them. Otherwise, I hope to see you all on February 5th. And I believe we had a raised hand. Is that correct? Is there anyone asking a question, or no? Maybe they changed their mind. It says I'm raising my hand. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for all of your nice feedback and for your comments. Thank you for participating. Have a great day. See you February 5th.
Megan, before you go, is there any chance you could email the toolkit? I've just filled
Yes,
in
of course.
the online form, but the link, our organization won't let us open that link. It's blocked.
Oh, goodness. Amanda, do you mind just sending me, let me see. Oh, I have your email. I've got it. No problem.
That would be great.
I'll
Thanks a
send
million.
it to you. No problem. Thank you for your question.
Anyone is having issue with the form? Excuse me, but Amanda, what was the problem exactly with the form?
Our organization won't let us open it, so
Okay. It's coming from the side.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah. It's nothing to do with your form. It's on our side.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you again. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.